Every second, the equivalent of one garbage truck of textiles is landfilled or burned. In a world where fashion trends come and go in a flash, have you ever paused to think about where all these clothes end up? Welcome to our eye-opening journey through the impact of fast fashion on the environment. This video will unravel the hidden truths behind those trendy, off-the-rack outfits that fill our closets. Get ready to explore how our fashion choices are not just shaping our styles, but also our planet's future. Fast fashion has totally changed the scene in the world of clothing, making it all about quick, cheap, and trendy. But hold up, what's the real cost of this rapid-fire fashion? It's not just about the price tag. We're talking serious environmental drama here. Take polyester, the go-to fabric for fast fashion. This stuff is a heavyweight in carbon emissions, doubling what cotton throws out there. And guess what? It's a slowpoke when it comes to breaking down, taking ages to decompose. The result? Our oceans are swimming in microplastics, all thanks to our love for fast and furious fashion fixes. Did you ever stop to think that our obsession with snagging the latest fashion trends might be giving Mother Earth a major headache? Yeah, it's time we chat about the not-so-cool side of our cool new outfits. Climate change is knocking on our door. And is that part of the problem? Our clothes! You'll be shocked to know that the fashion world is a big-time carbon emitter. We're talking about a whopping 10% of global carbon emissions, beating out all the planes and ships traveling around the world. And if we keep it up, the fashion industry's emissions could jump by over 50% by 2030. Crazy, right? The fashion world is seriously thirsty, guzzling a mind-blowing 93 billion cubic meters of water every year. That's like 4% of all the fresh water we use globally. Embrace yourself for this. Making just one pair of jeans can take a whopping 3,781 liters of water. Imagine that every 2 hours, a whole garbage truck's worth of clothes gets tossed out or torched. Crazy, right? And if you think that's bad, the whole process of dyeing those trendy colors into our clothes, it's the second biggest culprit in dirtying up our precious water bodies. Guess what? We're actually the big bosses behind fast fashion. Yeah, our endless craving for new threads is what's making fast fashion grow like crazy. Back in 2000, we produced about 50 billion new clothes a year. Now, it's doubled to a whopping 100 billion. Back in 2000, we produced about 50 billion new clothes a year. Now, it's doubled to a whopping 100 billion, but we barely hang on to them for half as long. Our hunger for cheap, quickly made clothes has turned the fashion industry into a global giant. But here's the downside. As our latest fashion haul zips across the world by train, truck, ship, and plane to land on our doorstep overnight, we're also racking up some serious carbon emissions. Yep, our love for instant fashion gratification is actually leaving some pretty hefty carbon footprints all over the place. Did you know that the folks in the UK are the shopping champions of Europe when it comes to clothes? Yup, the English people buy more threads per person than anyone else on the continent. And you know who's leading the pack? The young guns. According to a survey by the environmental charity Hubbub, more than 40% of 16 to 24-year-olds are snapping up clothes online at least once a week. That's way higher than the 13% average for other age groups. It seems like our younger crowd just can't get enough of that online shopping buzz. We not only buy more clothes, we also wear the clothes a lot less often. On average, clothes are only worn 7 times before being discarded. This combination leads to ridiculous quantities of textile waste. Every year, 18.6 million tons of clothing are thrown away around the world. According to Lauren Bravo, the author of How to Break Up with Fast Fashion, we only tend to wear 10% of our clothes on a daily basis. On top of that, we wear 60% of our clothes for less than a year. Fast fashion chains are eager to tap into our hunger for ever-new clothing. Instead of 2 collections per year, fast fashion chains release up to 52 micro-collections per year, all at the expense of the environment. So, let's talk about the fashion industry's secret recipe. It's all about the raw materials. Picture this: a whopping 2.5% of all the world's farmland is just for growing cotton for our clothes. And if you're into synthetic stuff like polyester, here's a shocker. It takes about 342 million barrels of oil every year to make it. Now, The dyeing part of making our clothes? That's another heavy hitter, using a massive 43 million tons of chemicals each year. It's like the fashion world's got a mega appetite for resources. Do you know how much water is needed to produce just 1 kilogram of cotton, a common material in fast fashion? Think about it, and we'll reveal the answer shortly. And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It takes a shocking 10,000 liters of water to produce 1 kilogram of cotton. The environmental cost of fast fashion is immense, and it's time for change. What then has to be done to transform this rapidly developing and seemingly disposable part of the economy into the sustainable fashion industry that we require for a future that is net zero? The 5 following useful tips can help you make your closet green. First one, new and sustainable textiles. Okay, so when you think of high tech, clothes might not be the first thing that pops into your head, right? Technology is becoming fashion's new best friend, especially when it comes to saving the planet. The big brain move here is all about whipping up new materials. The goal? Make our clothes last longer, or even better, make them super easy to recycle into something else. And technology isn't just about new materials. It's already jazzing up the way we recycle in fashion. Take Ruby Moon, for instance. They're turning old fishing nets into cool swimwear and have slashed their carbon footprint by 42%. Even those sporty kicks you love? They could be made from recycled ocean plastic. Secondly, upcycling. Think of upcycling as recycling's cooler cousin. Instead of breaking down old stuff to reuse the bits and pieces, upcycling is all about transforming used items into something way cooler and often more valuable. It's like giving your old jeans a second life as a trendy tote bag. And guess what? Vogue says upcycling is the latest rage in the fashion scene. Now let's talk about Reformation. They're not just any fashion brand. They're like the wizards of wardrobe recycling. These guys are the wizards of upcycling. They take vintage clothes and mix them with low-impact materials to create some stylish outfits. And those fabrics that stores can't sell and usually toss out, known as dead stock? Reformation turns this would-be waste into fashion gold. Third, buy secondhand. Looking to cut down your fashion footprint without sacrificing style? One word, thrifting. Yep, scooping up secondhand clothes is not just a win for your wallet, it's also a high five for the planet. Shopping secondhand is way more than a trend. It's a movement, helping spin the wheel of the circular economy. Sure, you still have to shop smart, not just on a whim, but the cool factor, it's off the charts. And get this, the global market for pre-loved clothes is set to hit a whopping $77 billion by 2025. That's more than double what it is now. It makes you wonder, right? A study conducted by Leeds University and Arup found that limiting one's annual purchases to 8 new items might cut the emissions associated with fashion in the world's largest cities by 37%. Fourth tip, rent or borrow. Why buy when you can borrow? Seriously, think about it. Most of our fancy outfits just hang out in the closet, waiting for that one special event. So why not rent or borrow and save some cash and the planet at the same time? Plus, here's a cool perk. You could be rocking some high-end fashion that's usually out of the budget. And guess what? Renting fashion is totally in right now. Websites like Buy Rotation and My Wardrobe HQ, they're buzzing. Borrowing clothes is not just smart, it's becoming the new normal. According to market research firm eMark, by 2025, the global rental market can grow by 65% to reach over £1.6 billion. RAP claims that 160,000 tons of carbon dioxide could be avoided in the UK alone if renting took the place of 10% of new purchases annually. And the fifth and last tip, repair and reuse. Let me give you an interesting fact. In some places, it's said that 40% of the clothes we buy just hang out, unworn. But here's a cool idea. What if we wore our clothes longer or fixed them up instead of tossing them? A study in the UK by SCAP showed that just wearing your clothes for an extra 9 months can cut their environmental impact by a whopping 30%. And here's something else that's catching on. Brands like Patagonia are asking customers to send back clothes they can't fix so they can recycle them. It's all about going full circle with our fashion. Buy, wear, repair, reuse. It's like fashion is taking a cue from nature and going round and round. As consumers, our choices have power. By being more conscious of where and how we shop, we can contribute to a more sustainable fashion industry. How do you think we can make a difference in combating the environmental impact of fast fashion? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful content.